All right, we're going to the dark side today. We're going to teach you how to get your poop together. I know, kind of a weird subject. No one wants to talk about it, but I'm a nurse. Nurses are just obsessed with poop. I don't know what to tell you. We had to get over it in Body Fluids 101. So if people weren't pooping, we were like making them poop. We were monitoring for poop. We were monitoring for bowel sounds. What color is it? How often? You know, the smell, the shape, the consistency. I know it's kind of gross, right? But it's a reality. Poop happens. It just does. So think back to when you first had a baby, if you're a mom, right? You were obsessed with poop. Your poop is important. So you need to be thinking about this. When you had a baby, why were you looking for how many times a day? You looked at those diapers constantly. How many times a day did your baby poop? What color was it? Was it runny? Was it firm? Was it too hard? We want to know these things because it tells us a lot. In fact, poop is the #1 indicator of your gut health, of your internal GI health. So we need to be talking about this stuff, but nobody wants to think about it, right? So today we're going to hopefully take the mystique away from your poop, and we want you to be thinking about some very basic information, and we'll give you some takeaway tips. So a couple basic questions. What does healthy poop mean? What is healthy poop? How many times a day should you go? These are all things people think about. What does it mean if you're constipated? All of this stuff they're questions I get regularly. So there's not really a hard and fast rule to how many times a day you should go. There's lots of opinions. But in general, you need to be going at least once a day. Most people, we like to say twice a day at least. If you're eating enough fiber, then you should be going at least twice a day. But definitely not less than once. And if you are going less than once, you want to start asking yourself why. Then you want to also be thinking about the color and the consistency, meaning how firm your poop is. Because if it is too dark or too light, it could mean certain things. So when poop is, say, black, it could be an indication of blood in your system. That's not a good thing. You might want to definitely consider consulting a physician at that point. Black, tarry stools usually indicate some form of blood. And if they're a very, very strong smell, more than normal, that's not a good thing. But also if poop is too light, if it's like more of a clay color, that's not a good thing. It could be a blocked bile duct. And so that could be an indication of something going on with your liver or your gallbladder. And so you want to get that checked. So too light, too dark, too runny could be diarrhea. And if it's diarrhea, you want to be asking yourself why. That's often what we see the most. Most of the time people are talking to us about irritable bowel syndrome, or it can go further into, ulcerative colitis, things like that. And if it's irritable bowel syndrome, it's oftentimes an indication that you're eating something that's not agreeing with your system. So a simple elimination diet will often correct it, getting rid of the food or whatever it is that is irritating your bowels. So I had actually one person that worked for us who she carried Imodium everywhere in her purse. And when I saw that, I said, what's going on with that? She thought that Imodium was the best drug ever created. And in her words, it changed her life. And I'm like, what do you mean? She said, I used to be scared to go anywhere. And now I can go places because I have Imodium. I have this drug that I can take. I'm just terrified of leaving the house without it. And I thought to myself, wait a second. And so I said to her, I'm like, have you ever thought of correcting the problem? Like getting rid of the irritable bowel syndrome so you don't need the Imodium? And she honestly didn't think that that was even a possibility. So we want you realizing that that's a sign that there's something wrong. You shouldn't be putting a Band-Aid over a bullet hole. Okay, yeah, it's okay to take Imodium once in a while. In fact, I travel with it if we're going out of state or out of the country because, you might eat something somewhere or drink the water. That's just a temporary thing. But if this is chronic, that's not a good sign. It's a sign that there's something not right. Your GI system is very unhappy. And when you have chronic diarrhea like that, you're not digesting your food properly. You're not getting nutrients that you should be. It affects things like possibly the digestion or the absorption of minerals or the formation of vitamin K. All sorts of stuff starts happening. So when we put her on an elimination diet, bam, within a couple of weeks, it completely cleared up her IBS. And that is one of the most common things we hear with people on the Omni diet is that IBS clears up. The second thing is if you are constipated, if you're constantly constipated, you're either not going regularly or when you do, it's painful and it's very hard. That's not good either. It's usually an indication that you're either dehydrated, not getting enough fiber in your diet, not getting enough greens. The average American gets less than 15 grams of fiber in their diet a day. We really want you to aim more for the 25 to 35 a day for everybody. So you want to be upping your fiber, so women around 25 and men closer to 35 a day. When you increase your fiber, increase your hydration. It should help. Also, activity. If you are a couch potato, it's going to affect your detoxification system, right? So stools are a way that you eliminate. Food, you intake, your body is supposed to take in the nutrients, and then you eliminate the waste. But if you are not properly hydrating, if you are sitting still too long, it's going to affect how well your body is detoxifying and eliminating waste. And that waste is backing up in your system. You don't want that. So move, hydrate, increase fiber. This is how you're going to improve your poop, okay? We need to improve your poop. So get your poop together. So to recap, how do you have happy poop? Happy poop, it should be brown. It should be a nice brown color. It should be formed. And yes, it should be smelly. There's lots of conversation about whether it should smell or not. Smelly poop is an indication that you've got good gut bacteria. And so that's the good bugs in your gut. That's why probiotics are often helpful. So think about probiotics if you're having problems. That often helps to clear up some of the problems people are having with their gut and with their poop. So this question, like most that I answer, came from someone in the community. That's one of my favorite things to do is take what's really happening in your life on a day-to-day basis and dig into it. Today we dug into poop. So happy pooping.